If you can. So many. One night, my mother was asking Gorky to write letters to his father, our father, and he was doing that, and then my mother turned very bad, and Gorky was just hugging her, and she passed away. She was a very, very beautiful woman. But she was always sad, very sad. I know when he has my mother's portrait there, Dr. Joachim, he just purchased that. And I went there, I saw my mother. Oh my God, I thought, that's my mother. I thought it was talking to me, she was talking. And he said, I'm gonna close the door, I want you to be with your mother. Half an hour I was just sitting there and talking to my mother's picture. When they bury her, we just one day more we stayed there. We thought we'd just come America because there's no future there. I was 12, 13, he was 14. What could we do?
Your Vartouche. Nowadays, an extremely melancholy mood has seized me, and I can concentrate on nothing except my work. I don't think there is any absolutely original art in the purest sense of that term. Everyone derives from the accumulated experiences of his own culture and from what he himself has observed. I remember the cool sunlight filtering through Varrock's halls at dawn, the medieval Armenian manuscript paintings. I love Uccello and Ingres, and I love the school of Paris of that man, Cézanne.
After Cézanne, there was Matisse. After Matisse, there was Braque. Just for a moment or two, maybe a month or so, enough to turn out one or two pictures and to experience what these painters were experiencing. And from Braque, he went to Gris and finally to Picasso. Once he hit Picasso, he couldn't get out of the influence of Picasso.
He didn't do it because he wanted to swipe anything. He just wanted to see if he could do it too. Because he was a remarkable painter, you know, so he didn't need to do it. It's just that he, I guess it's a form of love, I mean, or something. Of, it's a funny word, love, but I meant some kind of connection with things.
He thought that the Americans were far too interested in originality. And he thought originality was a very superficial and uninteresting attribute to have. He used to say, just wait 40 years.
Like myself, would I have been this way without Cubism, Picasso, and, you know, Léger and Matisse? It'd be very hard to figure out, you know. I don't worry about it.
There is a magical point at which suddenly you see there was something about the way the color was, something the way the impasto was put on, something about the line. That wasn't any of these other people. It was Gorky.
My dearest ones, this is the third instance that there have been customers for my paintings. They are always making delays with today and tomorrow, but they do not appear. This is the way it is, and with the others also. They, too, will come.
There's a tremendous desire to see Gorky's work. It hasn't been seen since 1962 in a retrospective form, and it has never been seen in this number.
He usually was in the Whitney Annual. In those days, there was a nice little group of people at the opening, but very small compared to what happens today. He read all the newspapers, all the criticisms. great deal of bar going at the end. He knows nothing. At the same time, he would have loved it if anyone had written anything nice about him. But it didn't happen until about his second or third show, when Clement Greenberg turned round, ate his hat, said they were good.
The paintings for $450 and couldn't sell them. That was the first exhibition. And the second exhibition, The Plow and the Song was one of the best pictures we had in the show. And it's a pretty good-sized picture. It's about 50 inches wide. And it was in the exhibition, and several people turned it down. And finally, a collector, a very nice fellow by the name of Gordon, bought it for $4,500. Well, he called me just a week ago, and he said, "What can I get for my Gorky today?" So I said, well, I would say $400,000. He said, "I have a check on my desk for $2 million for that picture. I don't know whether I should accept it or not." And I said, "Milton, take the check and run to the bank." Cry all the way to the bank. I don't know whether he did or not.
When we first lived together, I remember I'd worked out a budget that was 64 cents a day. But I could spend on food. Now, why 64 cents? But this sum has remained in my mind, and as I had never cooked in my life before, I didn't know which end of the coffee pot to put the coffee in. I mean, I really was of a total ignorance.
She was a very elegant girl, debonair, adventurous, quick-witted, and I knew Gorky would find her exciting, and I thought that any woman would find Gorky exciting.
I'd been told that he was irrepressible when given an audience, and would spend the whole evening dancing and singing his songs, you see. So I kept waiting for this person to rise and operate. And in fact, I was sitting next to him. He was waiting for me, and I was waiting for him to arrive. And got up to leave. We were both the last person to stand up because we were still waiting for each other to arrive. And as I went out the door, he said to put on his hat as he was going downstairs and said, "Miss McWhiter?" He just seemed nice and familiar. I mean, he was very nice size, and he moved very nicely, beautifully. We were married on the 13th of September, if I recollect. And we bought our wedding ring at a 5 and 10 cent store. It was a curtain ring, a very small curtain ring. We saw no one. We lived entirely between ourselves, it seems to me. We went to the movies, we walked, we went to the museums. We didn't go to the galleries much. And I loved watching him paint. It was beautiful.
August 1943, Hamilton, Virginia. Partouche dear, I have been well and am working excessively and am changing my painting style. Recall Father's garden down the path from our house. This I am painting. So many shapes and ideas. Happily a secret treasure to which I have been entrusted the key. How your brother does speak.
Well, I I think that coming here released so many childhood memories, so many unfulfilled dreams, so many hopes, everything. It just rushed in on him, and the drawings as a result were so full that he had enough material to use to paint from for years. I mean, he went on painting in Connecticut, what he'd drawn down here. He was drawing all sorts of things that he saw and that he didn't see. My mother asked him where were the trees? He was looking at these trees, but she couldn't find them on the paper, you see. He said, but that's because I'm drawing in between the trees. There's near to an explanation, but it isn't one.
Think of nature as a finite object. The human eye readily perceives this tangible quality. And so man, if satisfied with what he sees physically and unable to imagine creatively, will stagnate. Abstraction is therefore the probing vehicle toward higher evaluation of the finite. By tearing the finite apart, exploding it, so as thereby to enter limitless areas.
Once he was working out here in this field, and it was later in the year because the milkweed had grown very high. And he came back in most tremendous discouragement and stood beside me watching this tractor, which had started to cut down the weeds so that the grass could grow for the cows, or whatever would happen next. And Gorky said, they're cutting down the Raphaels.
Andre Breton, about that period, discovered Gorky and was very excited about him and decided Gorky was
a